Well, just going to keep the mood pretty light, I think, because we're talking about football qualification news, aren't we?
That's right. France qualified for the Russian 2018 World Cup yesterday with its win over Belarus. Now, the Argentinians have also been celebrating after their 3-1 win over Ecuador in the Ecuadorian capital Quito yesterday. It was a tense match, and it was a real do-or-die moment for the Argentinians because they had to win or risk a humiliating non-qualification. Anyway, Leo Messi's hat-trick has elevated him to godlike status in the country, if he wasn't already there. Let's have a look at those reactions on social media. There he is on the left of the image. He's a king of all kings, Messi, and on the right, he's Luke Skywalker. High praise indeed, and a lot of relief. But it's not all good news, Stuart, because the American football team, the U.S. football team, failed to qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 31 years. They lost to Trinidad and Tobago yesterday in a 2-1 loss, a humiliating and shambolic defeat for the Americans, who, you might remember, nearly reached the quarterfinals in the last World Cup.
Pretty scary there, Messi with a lightsaber. Let's get a bit more serious now. And we're going to look at how the Spanish papers are reacting to the Catalan leader's speech yesterday.
That's right. It's on the front pages of pretty much every Spanish paper, as you imagine. El Mundo calls it a farce and blackmail. They're not very impressed with the speech from the Catalan separatist leader yesterday. The editors say it's not a step back or a step forward. Carles Puigdemont's speech essentially shows that he's castling, which is a chess term where you pretty much entrench yourself into your position that you're already in. And I quote, this sort of Cold War with the government continues.
You found some support, though, from one Catalan paper.
Ara is a Catalan paper that's known to be pretty close to the separatist movement, and they, on their front page, they say it's a pause for some dialogue, really welcoming this decision to at least attempt negotiations with the rest of Spain. In doing so, Ara's editors say Puigdemont has transferred the pressure to Mariano Rajoy because he's aware that the Catalan game is played on the European board. Yesterday's events were a quote, bath of realism for the independence movement and reinforces the need to always keep the door open to dialogue.
Now, the allegations keep mounting up. This is against the Hollywood director, of course, Harvey Weinstein. He's been accused of rape in a New Yorker article.
That's right. These allegations have escalated from aggressive overtures to sexual assault. That's according to this explosive exposé from the New Yorker. You might note that it's actually written by Ronan Farrow, who helped his sister Dylan Farrow file accusations against their father, Woody Allen, for alleged rape as well. Now, the New Yorker article really blows this scandal wide open because in this article, 3 women come forward and say that they were actually sexually assaulted by Harvey Weinstein. One of them is Asia Argento, an actress who said she felt obliged to submit to his sexual advances because of the power he wielded in Hollywood. Weinstein's sexual harassment was an open secret in Hollywood, this article tells us, and he used non-disclosure agreements, payoffs, and legal threats to keep them at bay, but clearly his sordid past is catching up with him now.
And the columnists have been furiously reacting then to these latest accusations of rape, haven't they?
Yeah, that's right. The Daily Mail's columnist Sarah Vine writes that Weinstein's alleged behavior is at best repulsive, at worst criminal, but that he's a symptom of something even nastier, and that's Hollywood itself, an industry thriving on the, I quote, the sexual exploitation of young women by old, ugly, powerful men. But what's interesting is there's a columnist from the Wall Street Journal who's kind of taken a totally different spin on this, a conservative spin. He says Weinstein, we know, was a major Democrats donor, and he was close to both the Obamas and Clintons, who've both taken several days to react to the scandal. Holman Jenkins writes that conservatives are somewhat enjoying this scandal unfolding because, for once, it's the sanctimonious libs who are coming down from their pedestal. I quote, liberal hypocrites like Weinstein were a big reason 63 million Americans voted for a conservative hypocrite like Donald Trump.
It does appear that Weinstein, who's been fired, of course, from his own company, is at least seeking help now.
That's right. Well, the U.S. tabloid Page 6 reports that the mogul has checked into a rehab center for, among other things, anger management and sex addictions. He's also apparently going to seek treatment at a sex rehab facility in Europe.
And finally, let's end on a cautionary tale, you might say. This is coming from South Korea.
That's right. The Epoch Times, which is a New York-based China-focused paper, reports that 3 Chinese women were detained at Seoul airport, unable to catch their flights because they were on a plastic surgery holiday and their swollen faces made them unrecognizable from their passport photos. It actually belies a more darker tale. Chinese people are the biggest group of so-called surgery tourists who flock to South Korea for body modification. The most common procedure is a double eyelid procedure to make their eyes bigger, often done by girls as soon as they leave high school.
Scary stuff. All right, thank you very much, Dipsy with the papers on France 24. Next.